My beloved child, pause for a moment. Do not scroll away. Do not let your thoughts drift. This message is not an accident, and you are not here by chance. I have drawn you to this very second. Before you press play, before your eyes rested on these words, I already knew you would be here. I arranged this moment with tenderness and intention. Yes, this message is 100% for you. You may be wondering how that can be true. Out of millions of voices, why this one? Out of countless messages, why this now? Because I see the questions you have not spoken out loud. I hear the sigh you released when no one was around. I felt the weight in your chest when you tried to be strong for everyone else. You thought no one noticed. But I did. There was a reason you hesitated before clicking. A quiet whisper inside you said, "Maybe this is for me." That whisper was my gentle nudge. I know the season you are in. I know the confusion, the fatigue, the silent wondering if things will ever change. And right now, in this sacred pause, I am reaching directly into your heart. Imagine a father watching his child walk through a crowded marketplace, overwhelmed by noise and distraction. The father does not shout in anger. He leans close and calls the child by name. That is what I am doing with you. In the middle of all the noise, I am calling you closer. This is not a general announcement. It is a personal embrace. You may have felt overlooked lately, forgotten, as if your prayers rose into silence and never returned with answers. But I tell you this with unwavering love. I have never lost sight of you. Not one tear, not one anxious thought, not one restless night has escaped my awareness. When you turned your face into your pillow to hide your pain, I was there. When you forced a smile so others would not worry, I was there too. This message is not here to entertain you. It is here to waken you. Something within you has been stirring. A quiet hunger for reassurance. A need to know that you are not alone in this chapter of your life. My beloved child, you are not alone. I am closer than your breath. Stay with me. Let these words settle into your spirit. What I am about to reveal is not random encouragement. It is a reminder of who you are, whose you are, and why this very moment matters more than you realize. You did not find this message. I placed it in your path. And if you are listening right now, it is because I have something important to restore in your heart. My beloved child, I see you completely. Not the version of you that smiles in public. Not the careful words you choose so others will not worry. Not the strong face you put on when you are tired of explaining yourself. I see the real you. The one who lies awake at night replaying conversations. The one who wonders if you are enough. The one who carries questions you are afraid to ask out loud. You have felt invisible in ways you could never fully describe. You have stood in rooms full of people and still felt alone. You have given your energy, your time, your care, and sometimes you quietly asked yourself, who sees me? My beloved child, I do. I have always seen you. I see the effort behind your small victories. I see the courage it took for you to get out of bed on days when your heart felt heavy. I see the restraint you showed when you wanted to give up. I see the tears you wiped away before anyone could notice. Nothing about your journey has been hidden from me. When you were younger and you first learned to walk, you stumbled many times. Yet you did not condemn yourself for falling. You simply tried again. That is how I see you now. You are learning. You are growing. You are navigating a world that can be harsh and confusing. Your missteps do not define you. They are part of your becoming. There are moments when you feel misunderstood. You try to explain your heart, but the words do not come out right. Others interpret your silence as indifference, when in truth, you are overwhelmed. Others mistake your kindness for weakness, not realizing how strong you must be to stay gentle in a hard world. My beloved child, I understand what others misread. I see the dreams you tucked away because they seemed too big or too risky. I see the talents you downplayed because you feared judgment. I see the love you long to give and receive. Even when you doubt yourself, I do not doubt you. You have questioned your worth more than you admit. You compare your life to others and wonder why your path feels slower, heavier, or less clear. But you do not see the full picture. You see a single thread. I see the entire tapestry. Every delay, every detour, every closed door is woven with purpose. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being shaped carefully. Let me tell you something your heart needs to hear. You are not too much, and you are not too little. You are not too sensitive. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. The parts of yourself you try to hide are not burdens to me. They are places where my love rests gently. Think of a craftsman studying a stone before carving it. He does not look at the rough edges with frustration. He studies them with vision. He sees what the stone can become. In the same way, I look at you with vision, not disappointment. I see strength forming where you see weakness. I see wisdom growing where you see confusion. Even your silence speaks to me. Even your doubts are known. You do not have to impress me. You do not have to perform. You do not have to earn my attention. You already have it. Right now, as you listen, there is a part of you that feels exposed. That is because my words are reaching the places you keep guarded. Do not be afraid. I am not here to judge you. I am here to hold you steady. You have walked through moments that would have broken others. You have endured more than you give yourself credit for. And still, you are here. Still, you are breathing. Still, you are searching for light. That alone tells a story of quiet resilience. My beloved child, you are fully known and fully loved at the same time. Nothing about you surprises me. Nothing about you pushes me away. I see your past, your present, and your future in one glance, and I choose you still. Rest in that truth. Let it settle deeper than your fears. You do not have to shout to be seen. You do not have to strive to be valued. I see you completely, and I am not turning away. My beloved child, you almost convinced yourself this was just another video, just another voice passing through your day. You told yourself it was coincidence, an algorithm, a random suggestion, a simple moment of curiosity. But deep inside, something felt different. Something felt personal. That feeling was not imagination. It was invitation. You have been trained by the world to believe that everything is accidental, that timing is random, and moments hold no deeper meaning. But I am not random, and neither are the ways I reach for you. When your heart is weary, when your thoughts are restless, when your spirit is quietly asking for reassurance, I respond in ways you may not immediately recognize. Think about how many times you have whispered, "I just need a sign." You did not always say it out loud. Sometimes it was just a thought as you stared at the ceiling. Sometimes it was a sigh during a long drive. Sometimes it was a silent plea while scrolling through your phone. And now here you are, listening to words that feel like they were written from inside your own heart. That is not coincidence. That is care. Imagine a shepherd who notices one sheep wandering further than the rest. The shepherd does not panic, and he does not ignore it. He simply moves closer, gently guiding the sheep back toward safety. You, my beloved child, are never outside of my awareness. Even when you drift in doubt, even when you question everything you once believed, I move closer, not farther away. There have been patterns in your life you did not understand, delays that frustrated you, encounters that felt strangely timed, doors that opened just when you were about to give up. And yes, doors that closed when you begged them to stay open. You thought these were disconnected events, but I see the thread that ties them together. I have been weaving something steady and intentional beneath the surface. You wonder sometimes why certain people appeared in your life at specific moments, why certain words stayed with you long after they were spoken, why certain opportunities came when you felt unprepared. And none of it has been careless. I do not move carelessly with your life. Even your struggles have not been outside my sight. The nights when anxiety tried to convince you that you were alone. The mornings when you woke up already tired. The crossroads where you did not know which direction to choose. You believed you were navigating by yourself, but I was guiding you in ways too subtle for fear to detect. My beloved child, coincidence cannot explain the precision of my love. Chance cannot account for the way these words are settling into your exact situation. I know the chapter you are in. I know the question you have been circling. I know the decision that feels heavy. And I am speaking into that space now. There is a reason this message found you at this precise time. Not earlier. Not later. Now. Because now is when your heart is open enough to hear it. Now is when your strength feels thin enough to receive comfort. Now is when your questions are loud enough for my answers to matter. You may still feel skeptical. That is all right. I am not threatened by your questions. But let this thought rest in you. What if this moment was arranged with you in mind? What if you are not lost in a sea of billions, but personally known and personally guided? Lift your eyes beyond the surface of your day. See the possibility that you are being led with gentleness and precision. You are not drifting through meaningless moments. You are walking through a carefully held story. And this part of the story, my beloved child, was always meant for you. My beloved child, you have been carrying more than you let anyone see. You have learned how to hold everything together with quiet strength. You show up when you are tired. You respond when others call. You handle responsibilities that feel heavier than they should. And somewhere along the way, you stopped asking for help because you believed you had to be the strong one. But I see the weight pressing on your shoulders. I see how you replay conversations, wondering if you said the wrong thing. I see how you worry about the future, trying to solve tomorrow before it arrives. I see how you carry the expectations of others, afraid of disappointing them. And I see the pressure you put on yourself, demanding perfection when all I ever asked for was your heart. You were never meant to carry everything alone. Imagine a child trying to lift a suitcase far too heavy for their small arms. The child strains, determined to prove they can manage it. But the loving father does not stand back and watch the struggle. He kneels down, gently takes the handle, and says, "Let me carry this for you." My beloved child, that is what I am saying now. The burdens you are holding were not designed to break you, but they were never meant to be carried without me. You have been strong for so long that you do not know how to rest. Even when you sit still, your mind keeps working. Even when you lie down, your thoughts keep racing. You tell yourself that if you just try harder, think smarter, plan better, you will finally feel peace. But peace still not come from dietming your grim. It comes from releasing it. Some of the weight you carry is not even yours. It belongs to past mistakes you have already learned from. It belongs to words spoken over you that were never true. It belongs to fears planted by situations you survived. Yet you still carry them as if they define you. Lay them down. You have carried regret like a stone in your pocket, heavy and constant. You have carried guilt like a shadow that follows you into every new opportunity. You have carried the silent fear that if you slow down, everything will fall apart. But hear me clearly. Your life is not held together by your effort alone. It is held together by my steady hands. There were moments when you felt like you were one step away from breaking. Moments when you smiled in front of others but cried when you were alone. Moments when you whispered, "I can't keep doing this." I was there in those whispers. I did not judge your exhaustion. I understood it. You are not weak because you are tired. You are human. And you are loved. Think of a tree during a heavy storm. The wind pushes hard against it. The rain pours without mercy. Yet the tree does not stand by its own strength alone. Its roots hold it steady. My beloved child, I am your roots. When the winds of responsibility and fear press against you, I am beneath the surface, holding you firm. You do not have to prove your strength anymore. You do not have to earn rest. You do not have to carry the world to be worthy of love. Right now, in this very moment, I invite you to breathe deeply. Imagine placing every worry, every expectation, every heavy thought into my hands. I am not overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. I am not anxious about what makes you anxious. I am not confused by what confuses you. Let me carry what has been crushing your spirit. You were created to walk forward with hope, not to drag chains of pressure behind you. You were created to live with light in your eyes, not constant strain in your heart. My beloved child, the weight you have been carrying is not your identity. It is a season, and I am here to help you set it down. My beloved child, there is a fear you rarely speak about. It lingers in the quiet spaces of your mind. It shows up when the room grows still and distractions fade away. It is the fear of not being enough. The fear of failing. The fear that what you are building might collapse. The fear that you will give your heart and be left empty. You do not say these things out loud, but I hear them clearly. You have become skilled at hiding your fear behind logic. You tell yourself you are just being realistic. You say you are preparing for the worst so you will not be disappointed. But beneath those careful thoughts is a trembling question. What if it doesn't work out for me? My beloved child, fear hath been whispering stories that are not true. Fear tells you that you are alone in your uncertainty. Fear tells you that others are more capable, more secure, more prepared. Fear tells you that one mistake could undo everything. But fear does not see what I see. It cannot see the protection surrounding you. It cannot see the strength forming within you. It cannot see the doors I am already positioning ahead of you. There is a specific fear you carry about the future. You wonder if you will ever reach stability. If you will ever feel safe. If you will ever experience the peace you imagine for yourself. You compare timelines. You measure progress. You silently panic when things do not move as quickly as you hoped. But listen to me carefully. Your future is not fragile in my hands. Imagine a small child afraid to step into deep water. The child sees only the surface and imagines sinking. But the father stands in the water, arms open, steady and strong. The child's fear feels real, yet the father's presence changes everything. My beloved child, I am already standing in the places you are afraid to step into. You fear loss. You fear rejection. You fear being misunderstood again. Some of these fears were born from real pain. You trusted and were disappointed. You tried and were overlooked. You opened your heart and felt it close in response. So now you guard yourself. You move cautiously. You prepare for hurt before it even arises. I do not blame you for protecting your heart, but I do not want fear to build walls around it. Fear narrows your vision. It makes you focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. It magnifies worst-case scenarios until they feel inevitable. Yet fear is not your guide. I am. When fear tells you that you will fail, remember the times you have already overcome. When fear says you are too weak, remember the battles you survived. When fear says you are behind, remember that timing is not a race in my design. My beloved child, I do not promise a life without challenges, but I promise you will never face them alone. I walk with you into every uncertain space. I stand between you and dangers you cannot see. I soften blows you never even realize were coming. The fear you do not talk about has been sitting quietly in your heart, trying to convince you to shrink back. But you were not created to live small. You were not created to tiptoe through your own life. Let me replace your fear with trust. Not blind trust, not forced optimism, but steady, grounded trust in my presence. Trust that when you step forward, I step with you. Trust that even if something does not go as planned, it will not destroy you. Trust that I am able to redeem what feels broken. Right now, bring that hidden fear into the light of my love. You do not have to pretend it is not there. You do not have to be ashamed of it. Just place it in my hands. My beloved child, fear may speak loudly, but my voice is stronger. And I am telling you, you are protected, you are guided, and you are held more securely than you realize. My beloved child, one of the hardest battles you fight is not visible to anyone around you. It is the battle inside your own mind. From the outside, you may appear calm. You may carry out your tasks, hold conversations, even laugh at the right moments. But within you, thoughts move quickly, sometimes harshly. They question your choices. They replay your mistakes. They predict outcomes that have not even happened. And sometimes, they exhaust you more than any physical labor ever could. I see how your mind rarely rests. When you wake up, it begins planning. When you lie down, it begins analyzing. You revisit things you said days ago, wondering if they were wrong. You imagine conversations that have not taken place yet. You create scenarios filled with fear, and then you try to solve them before they exist. My beloved child, your mind was created to imagine beauty and possibility, not to imprison you in endless worry. There are moments when your thoughts turn against you. A small mistake becomes proof that you are incapable. A delay becomes evidence that you are failing. A closed door becomes confirmation that you are unworthy. You do not always realize how harshly you speak to yourself. Would you speak to someone you love the way you speak to yourself in your thoughts? The battle in your mind often feels lonely because no one else can hear it. But I hear every word. I hear the doubt that questions your value. I hear the anxiety that rushes in when things feel uncertain. I hear the self-criticism that weighs heavier than any outside judgment. Imagine your mind as a room filled with many voices. Some are gentle and hopeful. Others are loud and fearful. The fearful voices try to dominate the room, repeating worst-case outcomes until they feel real. But my beloved child, my voice has always been there too. Steady, calm, assured. You have grown so used to the noise that peace almost feels unfamiliar. Silence can feel uncomfortable because you are waiting for the next wave of anxious thoughts. But peace is not something you must manufacture. It is something I offer you. Think of a storm swirling over a lake. The wind disturbs the surface, creating restless waves. But deep beneath, the water remains still. That depth is where I dwell within you. When your thoughts churn at the surface, I remain steady underneath. You are not weak because your mind struggles. You are not broken because you overthink. You are human in a world filled with pressure and uncertainty. But you do not have to let every thought lead you. Not every thought deserves your agreement. When a thought tells you that you are not enough, pause and ask yourself if that thought carries my voice. When a thought tells you that everything will fall apart, ask whether it aligns with my faithfulness. When a thought accuses you of being hopeless, remember how many times I have carried you through. My beloved child, you can learn to recognize the difference between fear's whisper and my reassurance. My voice does not rush you. It does not condemn you. It does not speak in panic. It speaks in truth wrapped in love. Right now, I invite you to breathe slowly. Feel the tension leaving your mind with each breath. Imagine handing me the loudest thoughts, the most persistent worries. I am not overwhelmed by them. I am not intimidated by their intensity. You do not have to solve every possibility. You do not have to anticipate every outcome. You are allowed to rest your mind in my care. The battle in your mind does not define you. It is a space where I can bring clarity. It is a place where I can replace noise with peace. And even when your thoughts feel tangled, I remain steady, guiding you gently back to calm. My beloved child, you are not alone in this inner battle. I am with you in every thought, every question, every restless night, and I am leading you toward a quieter, steadier peace. My beloved child, you have been measuring your life against clocks that I never created. You look around and see others moving faster, achieving sooner, building quicker. You scroll through their milestones and quietly ask yourself why your journey feels slower. You compare chapters, forgetting that you are reading different stories. And in those moments, a subtle pressure begins to rise within you, whispering that you are behind. But hear me clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not delayed beyond repair. You are not missing your chance. Time in your world moves in straight lines, but my design moves with purpose, not panic. I am not rushing you toward a finish line. I am shaping you along the way. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. For a long while, nothing appears on the surface. If someone judged by sight alone, they might assume nothing is happening. They might even think the seed has failed. But beneath the ground, roots are forming. Strength is developing. Foundations are being laid. My beloved child, just because your growth is not visible to others does not mean it is not happening. You have questioned yourself more than you admit. You have wondered if you made the wrong choices, if you should have started earlier, if you wasted time, if you are falling short of expectations. But you forget something important. Every step you have taken has been part of your preparation. The lessons you learned in seasons that felt slow were not wasted. The skills you gained in hidden places were not meaningless. The patience you developed during waiting was not accidental. I was using those moments to strengthen you for what lies ahead. Imagine a craftsman building a house. He does not rush the foundation just to show progress. He takes time to ensure it can hold the weight of what will be built upon it. If he hurried the base, the entire structure would suffer. My beloved child, I care more about the strength of your foundation than the speed of your construction. There are dreams in your heart that feel distant, goals that seem just out of reach. You see others stepping into opportunities you hoped for, and comparison tries to convince you that you missed your moment. But what is meant for you cannot be stolen by someone else's timeline. Your journey is not a race against others. It is a path uniquely shaped for you. You may not realize how far you have already come. You focus on what remains undone, but I see the distance you have traveled. I see the growth in your character. I see the resilience in your spirit. I see the wisdom forming in your decisions. These things matter more than public milestones. If I hurried you into every desire before you were ready, the weight of it might overwhelm you. So when you feel delayed, understand that delay can be protection. When you feel paused, understand that pause can be preparation. My beloved child, stop punishing yourself for not being somewhere you think you should be. Release the pressure to match someone else's pace. The rhythm of your life is guided by my steady hand, not by comparison. There is no expiration date on your purpose. There is no deadline on your becoming. What I have placed within you will unfold in the right season. And when it does, you will understand why the waiting mattered. Lift your eyes from the clock. Look instead at the growth within you. You are not behind. You are being prepared with precision and care. Trust the timing that I have woven into your story. It is not rushed, and it is not forgotten. It is intentional. And my beloved child, you are exactly where you need to be for this moment. My beloved child, there are doors in your life that you still think about. Doors you knocked on with hope. Doors you prayed would open. Doors you imagined walking through with excitement and relief. And when they closed, the sound echoed louder than you expected. It felt personal. It felt final. It felt like rejection. You asked yourself what you did wrong. You replayed your efforts in your mind. You wondered if you were not qualified enough, not good enough, not ready enough. The closed door became a mirror reflecting your insecurities. But listen to me gently and clearly. Not every closed door is rejection. Some are protection. You could not see what was behind certain opportunities. You saw the surface. You saw what it looked like from the outside. But I saw the full picture. I saw the pressures it would bring. I saw the relationships that would drain you. I saw the timing that would have strained your spirit. And in love, I allowed that door to close. Imagine a child reaching for a brightly colored flame. From the child's perspective, it looks beautiful and harmless. But the father sees the danger. So he pulls the child back. The child may cry thinking something wonderful was taken away. But the father knows he prevented pain. My beloved child, some doors closed because I was pulling you away from harm you could not yet understand. There were jobs you did not get, relationships that did not continue, plans that did not unfold as you expected. Each one felt like a setback. Each one left you questioning your direction. But what you could not see was how those closed doors were quietly redirecting you. Redirection is not denial. Sometimes I close a door not to punish you, but to guide you toward something better suited to who you are becoming. If every door had opened, you might have walked into rooms that were too small for your growth. You might have settled for comfort instead of stepping into calling. You felt embarrassment when something did not work out. You worried about how others perceived your failure. But what you called failure, I called refinement. What you called loss, I called alignment. My beloved child, when a door closes, it does not mean your story is over. It means the path is shifting. It means I am rearranging circumstances in ways you cannot yet see. You may stand in a hallway of uncertainty for a while, wondering where to go next. But hallways are not meant to be permanent. They are transitions. Do not let closed doors convince you that you are unwanted or incapable. Sometimes the door closed because you deserve more. Sometimes it closed because your heart would have been crushed if it stayed open. Sometimes it closed because there is a door ahead that requires you to keep walking. Trust that I am not careless with your opportunities. Think back on doors that closed in the past. At the time, they felt devastating. But now, with distance, you may see how those closures led you somewhere unexpected and necessary. The disappointment shaped you. The detour strengthened you. The redirection prepared you. You do not have to understand every closed door immediately. You do not have to pretend it did not hurt. I know it did. I saw your confusion. I heard your prayers. I felt your frustration. But I need you to release the belief that every closed door is a reflection of your worth. It is not. Some doors close because they cannot hold the future I have planned for you. Some doors close because your destiny requires a different room. And some doors close simply because I am protecting you from what would have wounded your spirit. My beloved child, lift your eyes from what was lost. There are new doors ahead. And when the right one opens, it will not require you to shrink yourself to fit inside. It will align with who you are and who you are becoming. Trust me in the closures. They are not the end. They are part of your guidance. My beloved child, there are wounds in your heart that you have learned to live with. You do not always speak about them. In fact, you rarely do. You tell yourself they are in the past. You convince yourself that time has healed them. But sometimes, without warning, a memory rises. A familiar ache returns. A small comment from someone touches a tender place, and you react more deeply than you expected. That is how you know the wound is still there. I see those hidden scars. Some of them were formed in childhood, when words were spoken over you that shaped how you saw yourself. Some were created by betrayal, when someone you trusted chose differently than you hoped. Some were born from disappointment, when you gave your best and it was not enough for someone else. You carried those moments quietly, telling yourself to be strong. But strength does not mean ignoring pain. Imagine a small cut left untreated. Over time, the surface may close, but if it was never cleaned properly, it can still cause discomfort beneath the skin. My beloved child, some of your wounds were covered before they were healed. You learned to function with them instead of surrendering them to me. There were moments when you felt abandoned. Moments when you questioned your worth because someone walked away. Moments when you tried to earn love by being more accommodating, more helpful, more pleasing. You adjusted yourself to avoid further hurt. You built walls to protect your heart. And while those walls kept some pain out, they also kept some love from flowing in freely. I do not blame you for protecting yourself. You were doing what you knew to survive. But you were never meant to carry those wounds alone. You sometimes think your past disqualifies you from peace. That the mistakes you made were the ways you were hurt somehow define your future. But your wounds are not your identity. They are chapters in your story, not the conclusion. Think of a broken bone that heals stronger at the point of fracture. The very place that once felt weak becomes reinforced. In the same way, the areas of your heart that were once shattered can become places of deep compassion, wisdom, and strength. But healing requires trust. It requires allowing me into the tender places. You do not have to pretend you are unaffected. You do not have to minimize what happened to you. I was there when it happened. I saw the confusion in your eyes. I felt the sting in your spirit. I knew the questions that formed in your mind. Why me? What did I do wrong? Will this pain ever leave? My beloved child, I am not asking you to erase your memories. I am inviting you to let me redeem them. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means no longer being controlled by what happened. It means being able to remember without reliving the pain as if it is still present. It means trusting that your story is bigger than the hurt you experienced. Right now, there may be a specific memory surfacing in your heart. A moment you rarely revisit because it feels too heavy. Bring it to me. Do not hide it. Do not push it down. Let my love sit with you in that memory. I am gentle with broken places. I do not rush healing. I do not demand instant transformation. I move with patience, layer by layer, restoring what was damaged. And where there are scars, I place purpose. Where there was rejection, I plant assurance. Where there was shame, I speak dignity. My beloved child, you are not damaged beyond repair. You are not too wounded to be whole again. The parts of you that ache are the very places where my healing can shine brightest. Let me tend to the old wounds. Let me replace the lies spoken over you with truth. Let me show you that your heart, though bruised, is still capable of deep joy. Healing is not weakness. It is courage. And I am walking with you every step of the way. My beloved child, I know how difficult this season has been for you. You have prayed, and the answer did not come quickly. You have hoped, and nothing seemed to shift. You have waited, and the silence felt heavy. In the quiet, doubt tried to convince you that nothing was happening. It whispered that perhaps I had forgotten you. But I have never been absent from your story. Silence does not mean inactivity. Think of the dawn before sunrise. For hours, the sky appears dark and unchanged. Yet beneath the horizon, the sun is already moving into position. The light is preparing to break through. My beloved child, just because you cannot see movement does not mean I am not working. There are things aligning behind the scenes that you cannot yet perceive. Hearts are being softened. Circumstances are being rearranged. Strength is being built within you. Sometimes my greatest work happens in hidden places, where roots grow deep before branches stretch wide. You measure progress by visible change. I measure progress by internal transformation. While you were waiting for an outward breakthrough, I was strengthening your patience. While you were asking for immediate answers, I was building endurance within your spirit. These qualities will sustain you longer than a quick solution ever could. I understand the frustration of waiting. You want clarity. You want confirmation. You want something tangible to hold on to. But faith grows strongest in quiet soil. Trust deepens when you cannot rely on sight alone. My beloved child, I am closer in your silence than you realize. When you felt alone in your room, I was there. When you whispered, "Are you still with me?" I heard you. When you grew tired of asking and simply sighed, I understood. Your silence has never pushed me away. It has drawn me nearer. There is purpose in this pause. If I answered every prayer instantly, you might never learn how steady my presence truly is. If every door opened immediately, you might miss the growth that happens in the hallway. Waiting is not wasted time. It is sacred preparation. You may look at your life and see stillness. I look at your life and see movement forming beneath the surface. You may see delay. I see design. Trust that I am arranging what you cannot arrange. Trust that I am protecting you from outcomes you cannot foresee. Trust that when the moment is right, what I have been preparing will unfold in a way that confirms every silent season had meaning. My beloved child, as you rest in this truth, I now speak to those who feel stirred to help carry this light further. When you choose to support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing seeds into hearts that are waiting in their own silent seasons. I declare over you the living promise. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. As you release your seed through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link placed in the description, and even in the QR code before you, you become a river where others find living water. I, your Father, say to you now, if this word has fed you, then feed my sheep. Do not hesitate in this holy moment. Let your generosity be fire that carries my voice into homes where darkness still whispers. What you sow today becomes light in someone else's midnight. And as you give, I breathe increase over your house, provision over your needs, and peace over your future. Step into this act with bold faith, knowing you are partnering with me. Move now, and let your obedience unlock harvest beyond what you imagine. My beloved child, the storm you are facing is not the end of your story. I know how intense it feels. The winds of uncertainty have been strong. The rain of unexpected problems has fallen without warning. You have tried to stand firm, but some days you feel like you are barely holding your balance. You wonder how much longer this season will last. You wonder if you have the strength to endure it. But listen closely. Storms reveal strength you did not know you had. When the sky darkens and thunder rolls, it is easy to believe that the storm will last forever. The noise is loud. The pressure feels constant. Yet no storm remains without end. Even the fiercest winds eventually grow still. The clouds eventually part. And when they do, the air feels clearer than before. Right now, you may feel surrounded. Problems on one side, responsibilities on another. Emotions rising like waves inside you. You try to fix everything at once, but the storm does not respond to your control. That is because some storms are not meant to be controlled. They are meant to be walked through with me. Imagine a sailor caught in rough waters. If he panics and fights the waves recklessly, he exhausts himself. But if he steadies his grip and adjusts his sails wisely, he can endure until calmer waters come. My beloved child, I am teaching you how to steady yourself, not through fear, but through trust. This storm is not punishment. It is not proof that you have failed. It is not a sign that I have stepped away. Sometimes they expose cracks that need repair. Sometimes they uproot things that were never meant to stay planted in your life. You may not see it now, but this storm is shaping you. It is strengthening your patience. It is refining your character. It is teaching you to lean on me instead of your own limited understanding. The pressure you feel is not meant to crush you. It is meant to press you closer to my heart. There were days in the past when you thought you would not survive certain challenges. Yet here you are. You endured. You grew. You learned. The same will be true of this storm. One day, you will look back and see how it transformed you. Do not let the noise of the storm drown out my voice. In the middle of chaos, I speak peace. In the middle of confusion, I speak clarity. In the middle of fear, I speak assurance. You may not hear me above the thunder unless you quiet your heart. But I am there, steady and unshaken. The waves may rise, but they cannot overpower my presence. The wind may howl, but it cannot silence my promise. You are not standing alone in this weather. I am beside you, anchoring you. My beloved child, storms test what you believe. They reveal where your trust truly rests. And even when your faith feels small, I honor it. Even when you whisper instead of shout, I hear you. Do not assume that difficulty means defeat. Sometimes the very storm you fear is carrying you toward a shore you could not reach otherwise. The winds may be redirecting you to safer ground. The rain may be watering seeds that have yet to grow. Hold steady. You are stronger than this moment suggests. You are more resilient than your fear admits. And this storm, as powerful as it feels, does not have the final word over your life. I do. And I promise you, my beloved child, the storm is not your end. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand deeply. You are not here by accident. You are chosen on purpose. Before you ever questioned your worth, I established it. Before anyone spoke a word over your life, I called you valuable. Before you achieved anything, before you failed at anything, before you even knew how to define yourself, I already knew you fully and love you completely. You have allowed the world to measure you by performance, by success, by appearance, by approval. You learned early that praise followed achievement and that attention followed results. And without realizing it, you began to tie your identity to what you could produce. But your worth was never meant to be earned. Imagine an artist carefully designing a masterpiece. Every color is intentional. Every detail is placed with care. The artist does not create randomly or without thought. In the same way, I formed you with intention. Your personality, your sensitivity, your strength, even your quirks, none of it is accidental. You may look at yourself and see flaws. You may focus on what you think should be different. But I see design. I see layers of purpose woven together in ways you cannot yet fully understand. There were moments when you felt overlooked, chosen last, passed over, forgotten in rooms where others were celebrated. And those moments shaped how you see yourself. They planted the quiet belief that maybe you were not as important. But hear me clearly, you are not overlooked in my eyes. Even when others failed to recognize your value, I never did. Even when you felt invisible, I saw you clearly. You were not created to compete for worth. You were created to reflect my love in a way no one else can. Think of a garden filled with many different flowers. Each one blooms in its own season. Each one has a unique color and fragrance. If one flower tried to become another, it would lose its beauty. My beloved child, comparison steals joy because it ignores purpose. You were not meant to be someone else. You were meant to be you. The gifts inside you may feel small or unnoticed right now. Your kindness may seem ordinary. Your faith may feel fragile. Your dreams may feel distant. But what I have placed within you carries weight and meaning beyond what you can see. You are chosen not because you are perfect, but because I decided to love you. Chosen to grow. Chosen to learn. Chosen to reflect hope in places that feel dark. Chosen to walk a path uniquely designed for your heart and your spirit. Even your struggles have not disqualified you. Your mistakes did not cancel your calling. Your doubts did not remove you from my plan. I knew every weakness before you ever faced it, and I still chose you. You may wonder why your journey has felt different from others, why your path has been winding instead of straight. But winding roads often lead to deeper understanding. They build resilience. They cultivate compassion. And they prepare you to help others who walk similar paths. My beloved child, when you doubt your place in this world, remember this. I do not create without intention. I do not form without purpose. I do not call without sustaining. Lift your head. Stand a little taller in your spirit. You do not have to prove you belong. You already do. You are not an afterthought. You are not a mistake. You are not random. You are chosen on purpose, with love that does not fade and a calling that does not expire. And nothing, not failure, not delay, not rejection, can erase what I have already decided about you. My beloved child, there is a whisper you keep hearing. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It comes softly, often when you are alone. Sometimes it arrives as a gentle thought. Sometimes as a quiet nudge. Sometimes as a feeling you cannot quite explain. And you have wondered if it is just your imagination. But it is not your imagination. In a world filled with loud opinions and constant noise, my voice rarely competes by volume. I speak in stillness. I speak in peace. I speak in subtle conviction that settles deep within your spirit. And you have felt it. You felt it when you knew you needed to walk away from something, even though it looked good on the surface. You felt it when you sensed you should reach out to someone, even without a clear reason. You felt it when you paused before making a decision because something inside you said, "Wait." That whisper is guidance. Yet you sometimes doubt it. You ask yourself, what if I am wrong? What if I misread it? What if I make a mistake? So you hesitate. You second guess. You look for louder confirmation. But my beloved child, wisdom often begins as a whisper. Imagine a gentle breeze passing through a field. It does not uproot trees. It does not tear through the land. Yet it moves steadily and with direction. My guidance often feels like that breeze, calm, steady, and purposeful. The whisper you hear is not meant to pressure you. It is meant to protect you. It is meant to align you. It is meant to gently correct your course when you begin to drift. There have been times when you ignored it. Times when you chose the louder voice of fear or the louder voice of approval from others. And afterward, you sense that you should have trusted that quiet knowing. You not condemn yourself for those moments. Growth includes learning to recognize my voice more clearly. You are not foolish for questioning. You are human. But I want you to become more confident in the peace that accompanies my whisper. My voice does not produce chaos in your spirit. It does not rush you into anxiety. It does not shame you. When I guide you, even if the direction feels challenging, there is a steady calm beneath it. Think of a child learning to recognize their father's voice in a crowd. At first, it may blend with others. But over time, familiarity builds recognition. My beloved child, the more you sit in stillness, the more clearly you will recognize me. The whisper may be inviting you to trust more deeply. It may be nudging you toward a step of courage. It may be telling you to release something that has held you back. It may be encouraging you to begin something new, even if you feel unprepared. Do not underestimate small obediences. A slight shift in direction can change the entire outcome of a journey. A simple act of trust can open unexpected doors. The whisper you keep hearing is shaping your path in ways you cannot yet see. You do not need dramatic signs to know you are guided. You need awareness. You need stillness. You need willingness. My beloved child, slow down enough to listen. When you feel that gentle conviction, do not dismiss it. When peace settles over a decision, pay attention. When unease stirs within you, pause. I am not distant. I am near enough to guide you step by step. Trust the whisper. It is not there to confuse you. It is there to lead you safely forward. And as you grow more familiar with my voice, you will walk with greater confidence, knowing you are never navigating alone. My beloved child, there are things in your life that are quietly draining you. They do not always look harmful. Some of them even feel familiar and comfortable. But when you step back and listen to your spirit, you sense the heaviness they bring. Certain conversations leave you exhausted. Certain environments steal your peace. Certain habits keep you stuck in cycles you secretly wish would end. You have grown used to carrying what depletes you. Sometimes it is a relationship where you give more than you receive. You try to be patient. You try to be understanding. You try to fix what is not yours to fix. And little by little, your energy fades. You tell yourself that love means enduring everything. But love does not mean losing yourself. Sometimes it is a mindset you have carried for years. A belief that you must constantly prove your worth. A belief that rest is laziness. A belief that you cannot say no. These thoughts quietly drain your joy and leave you feeling obligated instead of free. My beloved child, I did not design you to live depleted. Imagine a lamp that is never unplugged from demands but never plugged into its source. Eventually, it flickers. Eventually, it dens. The problem is not the lamp's design. The problem is disconnection from power. You need renewal. You need boundaries. You need space to breathe. Letting go can feel frightening. You worry about disappointing others. You fear being misunderstood. You fear what might happen if you step back. But holding on to what drains you will cost you more in the long run. It will cost you your peace. It will cost you your clarity. It will cost you your strength. There are habits you know are not helping you grow. Patterns of thinking that keep you trapped. Reactions you repeat because they feel familiar. You may say, "This is just who I am." But you are not defined by your coping mechanisms. You are capable of change. My beloved child, release what is not nourishing your spirit. Let go of conversations that revolve around negativity. Let go of the need to rescue everyone. Let go of the pressure to attend every expectation placed upon you. Let go of the inner voice that demands perfection. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you start caring about your well-being too. Think of a tree that holds onto every dead leaf. It would struggle to bloom in spring. But when the season changes, the tree releases what no longer serves it. The falling leaves make room for new growth. In the same way, releasing what drains you creates space for what strengthens you. You may need to step back from certain influences. You may need to create boundaries that feel uncomfortable at first. You may need to say no where you once said yes. These choices are not selfish when they protect your peace. I want you strong, not constantly exhausted. I want you joyful, not always burdened. I want you clear-minded, not overwhelmed by voices pulling you in every direction. My beloved child, trust that when you let go of what drains you, I will fill the empty space with what restores you. Eugenerians. Healthy rhythms. Fresh clarity. Renewed energy. You do not have to cling to what is hurting you out of fear. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to protect your heart. You are allowed to grow beyond old patterns. Release what is weighing you down. Open your hands. Trust that I am guiding you toward fullness, not loss. Let go, and watch how lighter your spirit becomes. My beloved child, I have seen every tear you have cried, the ones that fell quietly in the dark, the ones you wiped away quickly before anyone could notice, the ones that came without warning, surprising even you. None of them have been wasted. None of them have fallen without being seen. You sometimes feel embarrassed by your tears. You tell yourself you should be stronger by now. You wonder why certain things still affect you. But tears are not weakness. They are evidence that your heart is alive. There were tears of disappointment when something you hoped for did not happen. Tears of grief when you lost something or someone precious. Tears of frustration when you tried your best and still felt misunderstood. Tears of exhaustion when you felt like you had nothing left to give. Each tear carried a story, and I was present in every one. Imagine a loving parent kneeling beside a child who has fallen and scraped their knee. The child cries, not only because of the pain, but because they need comfort. The parent does not scold the child for crying. The parent gathers them close. My beloved child, when you cried, I drew near to you in the same way. You may not have felt my presence in those moments. Sometimes pain feels louder than comfort, but my nearness is not measured by your awareness. It is steady, even when your emotions are overwhelming. There were nights when you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if things would ever change. Nights when your pillow soared tears no one else knew about. Nights when you whispered questions into the dark. I heard every word. I held every sob. Your tears have watered seeds you cannot yet see. Just as rain softens hard ground and prepares it for growth, your tears have softened places in your heart that needed healing. They have made you more compassionate, more understanding, more capable of empathy. They have deepened your capacity to love. Pain can feel meaningless in the moment, but I do not allow suffering to exist without purpose. Even when you cannot trace the outcome, I am weaving redemption into the fabric of your story. My beloved child, there are blessings ahead that will only make sense because of the tears you have cried. There are people you will comfort because you understand their pain. There are strengths within you that were forged in sorrow. You may look back and see moments you wish never happened, moments you would erase if you could. But if those moments shaped you into someone more compassionate, more resilient, more aware of my presence, then even the sorrow holds value. Do not rush yourself to move on from grief before you are ready. Healing is not a race. Tears are part of the process. They cleanse the heart. They release what words cannot express. I do not grow impatient with your emotions. I do not grow weary of your sadness. I sit with you in it. I hold you through it. And I promise you this: the tears you have cried will not define your future. There is joy ahead. There is laughter that will feel genuine and free. There is peace that will surprise you. And when the joy arrives, it will not erase your tears, it will transform them into testimony. My beloved child, you are not fragile because you cry. You are courageous because you feel. Every tear matters to me. Every sigh, every silent ache. I gather them all with tenderness. And I am turning your sorrow into strength, your mourning into meaning, your tears into something beautiful. Trust me with your pain. It is not wasted. My beloved child, somewhere along the way your confidence was shaken. It did not disappear all at once. It faded gradually. A hard word here. A failure there. A disappointment that lingered longer than you expected. Slowly, you began to question yourself. You began to hesitate where you once moved freely. You began to doubt abilities that once felt natural. I saw when your boldness turned into caution. There was a time when you stepped forward without overthinking every detail. You trusted your instincts. You believed that things would work out. But after a few painful experiences, you started protecting yourself by shrinking. You told yourself it was wisdom. Sometimes it was. But sometimes it was fear disguised as wisdom. My beloved child, I am restoring your confidence, not the kind rooted in pride, but the kind rooted in identity. Confidence is not about never failing. It is about knowing that failure does not define you. It is not about being the loudest in the room. It is about standing steady in who you are. It is not about controlling every outcome. It is about trusting that you can handle whatever comes with my help. You have been measuring yourself by outcomes instead of growth. When something did not succeed, you assumed you were not capable. When someone criticized you, you internalized their words. When progress felt slow, you interpreted it as inadequacy. But you forgot to notice how much you have learned, how much you have endured, how much stronger you have become. Imagine a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they wobble, they fall, they scrape their knees. But the loving parent does not say, "You are not meant to ride." Instead, the parent encourages them to try again. Each attempt builds balance. Each fall teaches adjustment. My beloved child, your journey has been like that. You have fallen, yes, but you have also risen. The experiences that bruised your confidence were not meant to bury it. They were meant to refine it. They taught you humility. They taught you patience. They taught you compassion for others who struggle. Now I am breathing fresh courage into you. You may not feel it fully yet. That is all right. Restoration often begins quietly. I am reminding you of strengths you forgot you had. I am stirring dreams you set aside. I am rekindling the belief that you can step forward again. Not recklessly, not arrogantly, but confidently. You are more capable than your fear admits. You are more prepared than your doubt suggests. You are more resilient than your past tries to convince you. My beloved child, confidence rooted in me does not collapse under pressure. It does not disappear when criticism comes. It does not depend on applause. It stands firm because it knows it is supported by something greater. When you walk into new opportunities, I want you to lift your head. When you speak, I want you to trust your voice. When you try again, I want you to remember that growth often requires multiple attempts. Do not let one chapter define your entire story. There are gifts inside you that are waiting to be used boldly. There are ideas waiting to be explored. Your paths waiting for your footsteps. And you will not walk them perfectly, but you will walk them stronger than before. My beloved child, the version of you that once felt fearless is not gone. That courage still lives within you. It has simply matured through experience. I am restoring your confidence piece by piece. In small decisions, in quiet victories, in moments where you choose to believe again. Trust the process of rebuilding. Trust the strengthening of your spirit. You are not the insecure version of yourself that fear tries to show you. You are growing. You are capable. And with me beside you, you can step forward again with steady, renewed confidence. My beloved child, you often underestimate your own strength. You look at yourself and see fragility. You see the moments you broke down. You see the times you doubted, the days you struggled to get out of bed, the nights you questioned everything. But I look at you and see endurance. I see resilience. I see a spirit that has bent but not shattered. You measure strength by how little you feel. I measure it by how much you have felt and still kept going. Think about what you have already survived. Situations that once seemed impossible to endure. Conversations that left you shaken. Losses that took the breath out of your chest. At the time, you wondered how you would move forward. Yet here you are. You may say, I had no choice but to continue. But that is strength. Strength is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like showing up when you would rather hide. Sometimes it looks like trying again after failing. Sometimes it looks like choosing kindness when you are tired of being misunderstood. My beloved child, there were moments when you thought you were at your breaking point. You felt stretched beyond your limit. You whispered, "I cannot handle this." And yet, something within you held on. That something was not accidental. It was the strength I placed inside you. Imagine a tree standing on a cliffside. Winds push against it year after year. Storms batter its branches. From a distance, it looks fragile against the sky. But beneath the surface, its roots run deep into the rock. The storms do not uproot it because it is anchored. My beloved child, you are anchored more deeply than you realize. Your strength has been forming quietly. It formed when you forgave someone who hurt you. It formed when you faced a difficult truth instead of avoiding it. It formed when you asked for help instead of pretending you were fine. It formed when you chose hope, even when evidence seemed thin. You think strength means never feeling fear. But true strength is feeling fear and still taking a step forward. You think strength means never crying. But true strength is allowing tears to fall and still believing tomorrow holds possibility. Do not confuse sensitivity with weakness. Your ability to feel deeply is not a flaw. It is a gift. It allows you to connect, to empathize, to love in ways others cannot. That is not fragility. That is depth. There have been people who underestimated you. Perhaps they saw your gentleness and mistook it for lack of power. Perhaps they saw your quiet nature and assumed you could be easily moved. But you have endured more than they know. Even now, as you listen to these words, there may be areas of your life where you feel uncertain. You may question whether you can handle what lies ahead. But remember what lies behind you. Remember the battles already fought. Remember the obstacles already crossed. My beloved child, you are not starting from weakness. You are standing on a foundation of experience. Every challenge you faced added to your strength. Every hardship carved wisdom into your heart. Every tear you shed deepened your resilience. You are stronger than you think because your strength does not depend solely on your own ability. It is sustained by my presence within you. When you felt like giving up, I upheld you. When you felt empty, I filled you quietly. When you felt lost, I guided you step by step. Stop speaking to yourself as if you are fragile beyond repair. Stop assuming you cannot handle what comes next. You have already proven, time and again, that you can endure more than you imagined. My beloved child, lift your eyes and recognize the strength that lives within you. It has carried you this far, and it will carry you further still. My beloved child, I know how difficult it is to wait. Waiting stretches you in ways that immediate answers never could. It tests your patience. It challenges your faith. It tempts you to believe that nothing is happening. You look at the calendar, at the passing days and months, and you quietly ask, why is this taking so long? You assume delay means denial. But delay is not rejection. Delay is preparation. Think of a craftsman shaping a piece of metal. He places it in fire, then removes it, then shapes it carefully with steady hands. If he rushes the process, the structure becomes weak. If he skips steps, the final result cannot hold weight. My beloved child, when your life feels delayed, it is not because I have forgotten you. It is because I am refining you. There are blessings you desire that require a stronger foundation than you currently see. There are opportunities ahead that demand maturity you are still developing. There are responsibilities tied to your future that need a steadier version of you. Waiting builds that steadiness. You may feel stuck while others seem to be moving forward. You may question whether you missed your moment. But what if this delay is protecting you from stepping into something too soon? What if moving early would have created cracks you were not ready to handle? I see the full path. You see only the next step. Imagine a child asking to drive a car before they are old enough. The child may feel ready. They may even feel frustrated at the restriction. But the father knows that readiness is not about desire alone. It is about preparation. My beloved child, I withhold nothing that is truly good for you. I only ensure you are ready to carry it. There are inner qualities being formed in you during this delay. Patience that steadies your emotions. Humility that grounds your success. Wisdom that sharpens your decisions. These qualities cannot be rushed. They must be cultivated. The delay has also been revealing your true motivations. It has shown you what matters most. It has clarified whether your desires come from comparison or calling. It has given you space to reassess and realign. You may not see visible movement, but growth beneath the surface is still growth. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted. Roots grow in darkness before stems break through the soil. If you dug up the seed every day to check its progress, you would interrupt its development. In the same way, constantly questioning the delay can disturb your peace. Trust that something is forming, even if you cannot yet see it. My beloved child, you are not being punished with waiting. You are being positioned. When the right time arrives, doors will open with a sense of alignment you cannot force. The opportunity will not require you to compromise who you are becoming. It will fit the maturity you have developed during this quiet season. You may feel restless now. You may feel eager to move. That desire is not wrong. But let your eagerness be balanced with trust. Let your ambition be anchored in patience. The delay is shaping your endurance. It is strengthening your faith. It is teaching you to rely on me instead of rushing ahead alone. One day, you will look back on this waiting season and realize it was not empty. It was full of invisible growth, full of lessons, full of preparation that made your future sustainable. My beloved child, do not despise the delay. It carries purpose. It carries protection. It carries preparation for something greater than you can currently imagine. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust me. My beloved child, there are battles you never knew were fought on your behalf. There are dangers you never recognized. There are plans that never reached you. There are outcomes that were quietly redirected before they could wound you. You often measure protection by what you can see, but much of my protection happens beyond your awareness. You sometimes look at your life and focus on what did not happen, the opportunity that slipped away, the relationship that ended, the plan that fell apart, and you feel disappointed. But you do not always consider what those closed paths may have shielded you from. I see the full picture. You see the surface. Imagine a traveler walking along a road with limited visibility. Around a bend, there is a fallen tree blocking the way. The traveler cannot see it yet, so they continue forward unaware. But before they reach it, a detour sign redirects them down another path. At first, they feel inconvenienced. Only later do they realize the detour prevented a collision. My beloved child, many of my redirections have been acts of unseen protection. There were conversations that could have escalated further, but I softened hearts. There were financial decisions that could have led to deep strain, but circumstances shifted. There were connections that seemed promising, but hidden intentions would have harmed you. I intervened quietly. You may not have thanked me for those interventions because you did not recognize them. But protection does not require your awareness to be real. Sometimes you ask, why did this fall apart? And I answer gently, because you deserve safety. Sometimes you ask, why was I removed from that environment? And I whisper, because I saw what it would cost you. Sometimes you ask, why didn't this door close so suddenly? And I remind you, because not everything that glitters carries peace. My beloved child, I am not only guiding you toward blessings, I am also guarding you from harm. There are forces in this world you do not fully perceive. Influences, intentions, consequences that stretch beyond your immediate vision. But I stand watch over your path. I weigh outcomes before you step into them. I assess what will strengthen you and what will quietly erode you. This does not mean you will never face hardship. Growth requires challenge. But it does mean that you are never abandoned to navigate blindly. Even when you feel exposed, you are covered. Think of a shield held in front of you. You may not see every arrow that strikes it, but the shield absorbs the impact. My beloved child, there have been arrows aimed at your peace that never reached your heart. There have been attacks on your confidence that dissolved before they landed. There have been plans against you that lost their power before unfolding. You might never know the full extent of what I have prevented, but trust that my protection is constant, not occasional. There will be times when you look back and understand clearly why certain things did not work out. There will be moments of realization when you say, "Now I see." But until then, let trust replace frustration. You are not wandering unguarded. You are not exposed without defense. You are not navigating without oversight. My beloved child, even in seasons where you feel vulnerable, I am attentive. Even in moments when you question your safety, I am steady. My protection surrounds you in ways both visible and invisible. Rest in that assurance. You do not have to see every danger to be safe. You do not have to understand every redirection to be guided. You do not have to know every battle fought to be protected. I am watching over you with care deeper than you can comprehend. And what I guard with unwavering love. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when your future felt uncertain. You have looked ahead and seen more questions than answers. You have tried to imagine where you will be months or years from now, and instead of clarity, you felt fog. In those moments, doubt tried to settle into your heart. It whispered that perhaps the best days were behind you. But I tell you this with certainty, your future is still bright. Brightness does not mean the absence of challenges. It means the presence of hope. It means that light still exists beyond what you currently see. It means that what lies ahead carries purpose, growth, and unexpected joy. You may focus on what has not worked out so far. You may count the setbacks and assume they predict what is to come. But your past does not have authority over your future. I do. Imagine standing before a horizon at dawn. Before the sun rises, the sky appears dim and colorless. If you judge the day by those early moments, you might assume it would remain gray. But slowly, light begins to spread. Colors appear where darkness once dominated. My beloved child, you are standing in that early dawn. The light is already on its way. There are experiences ahead that will make sense of your present confusion. There are relationships ahead that will bring warmth where there was loneliness. There are opportunities ahead that will align with the growth you have undergone. You may not see the full picture yet, but I do. You have worried that time is slipping away. That chances are disappearing. That dreams are fading. But what is meant for you is not fragile. It does not expire because of delay. It does not vanish because of a detour. Sometimes I allow you to walk through uncertainty so that when clarity comes, you recognize it deeply. Sometimes I allow you to experience lack so that when provision arrives, gratitude flows freely. The contrast sharpens your appreciation. My beloved child, Do not let temporary darkness convince you of permanent defeat. The chapter you are in now is not the entire story. There are pages yet to be written, scenes yet to unfold, growth yet to happen. Your future carries healing where there has been hurt. It carries stability where there hath been instability. It carries fulfillment where there has been longing. But it also carries responsibility. Brightness requires readiness, and you are being shaped into someone who can carry that light well. You may not feel fully prepared. That is all right. Preparation often feels incomplete from the inside, but I am equipping you in ways you do not yet recognize. Think about how far you have already come. Think about the lessons learned, the resilience built, the wisdom gained. These are not random experiences. They are tools for the road ahead. My beloved child, lift your eyes from the immediate struggle and allow yourself to imagine hope again. Allow yourself to believe that good things are still possible. Allow yourself to expect joy without fearing disappointment. You are not destined for a life of constant strain. You are not meant to dwell in perpetual uncertainty. You are walking toward something brighter than you can currently envision. Trust that the same hand that has guided you this far will continue to lead you forward. Light may seem distant now, but it is steady, is approaching. And when it breaks fully into your life, you will understand that every dark season had its purpose. Your future is not fading. It is forming. And my beloved child, it is still bright. My beloved child, I know there have been seasons when you felt alone. Not just physically alone, but deeply alone. Surrounded by people, yet not fully understood. Present in conversations, yet feeling unseen. You have longed for connection that feels safe, mutual, and steady. You have wondered if the kind of companionship your heart desires truly exists for you. Hear me gently. The people meant for you are coming. Not every connection was designed to stay forever. Some people entered your life to teach you. Some came to challenge you. Some were mirrors reflecting parts of yourself you needed to confront. And some left because their role in your story was complete. Their departure was not proof that you are unworthy of lasting connection. It was alignment. Imagine a puzzle being assembled piece by piece. Not every piece fits into every space. Forcing the wrong piece into place only distorts the image. In the same way, forcing relationships that do not align with your spirit will only exhaust you. You have tried to hold on to certain connections out of fear of being alone. You tolerated behaviors that drained you. You overlooked red flags because you valued companionship. You adjusted yourself to maintain harmony. But deep inside, you felt the strain. My beloved child, I did not create you to beg for belonging. You were created for relationships built on mutual respect, encouragement, and sincerity. The right people will not require you to shrink. They will not demand you silence your truth. They will not compete with your growth. They will celebrate it. You may feel as though time is passing and meaningful connections have not yet arrived. But timing applies to relationships as much as it applies to opportunities. Some people must grow before they can meet you, and you must grow before you can meet them. There are individuals whose paths are being shaped even now, just as yours is. Their experiences are preparing them to understand you. Their challenges are deepening their empathy. Their lessons are refining their character. When your paths cross, it will not feel forced. It will feel natural. Do not confuse temporary loneliness with permanent isolation. This season may feel quiet, but it is not empty. It is preparing you to recognize healthy connection when it appears. It is teaching you to value quality over quantity. It is helping you understand your own needs more clearly. My beloved child, I am also teaching you to be comfortable in your own company, to find peace within yourself, to know your worth without constant validation. This inner stability will attract relationships built on strength rather than dependency. The people meant for you will not only appreciate your strengths, they will honor your vulnerability. They will listen without rushing to judge. They will support your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. You may not see them yet, but they are not far. Trust that I am orchestrating meetings you cannot foresee, conversations that will spark understanding, introductions that will lead to deeper bonds, moments that will remind you that you were never meant to walk alone forever. And remember this, while you wait for the right people, you are never without companionship. I am with you in every quiet moment. I am your constant when others feel temporary. Do not rush into connections out of fear. Do not cling to those who cannot walk the distance with you. Release what does not align, and trust that what is meant for you will remain. My beloved child, your heart was designed for meaningful connection, and the ones who will value it fully are drawing closer, step by step, in perfect timing. My beloved child, there is a thought that has been quietly troubling you. Maybe I'm too late. Too late to start again. Too late to change direction. Too late to repair what was broken. Too late to chase a dream that once felt alive in your heart. You look at your age, your circumstances, your past decisions, and you wonder if the window has closed. But listen to me with tenderness and truth. You are not too late. Time in your world feels unforgiving. It moves forward without pause. It reminds you of missed chances and unfitting plans. But my timing is not limited by human deadlines. What I place in your heart does not expire because of delay. You may regret choices you made. You may replay moments when you wish you had acted differently. You may compare yourself to others who seem further along. But comparison steals perspective. It makes you forget that every journey unfolds differently. Imagine a garden where some flowers bloom early in the season and others later. The late bloom does not mean the flower is defective. It means its design follows a different rhythm. My beloved child, your blooming has its own season. There were circumstances you could not control. There were lessons you needed to learn. There were wounds that required healing before you could move forward fully. None of that means you are disqualified from what lies ahead. You may think, if only I had started sooner. But if you had started sooner, you might not have had the wisdom you now carry. You might not have had the maturity to sustain what you desired. Growth prepares you for longevity. Some dreams had to wait because you were becoming the person capable of carrying them. You may also fear that others will judge you for starting late, that they will question your shift, that they will doubt your new direction. But their opinions do not determine your destiny. I do not consult crowds when guiding your path. My beloved child, it is never too late to choose alignment. It is never too late to pursue healing. It is never too late to step toward purpose. The only true delay would be refusing to move because of shame. Let go of the belief that your past has locked you into one outcome. I am not limited by what has already happened. I can restore lost time. I can open doors that seem sealed. I can breathe life into dreams that feel dormant. You are not defined by when you begin. You are defined by the courage to begin at all. Think of a traveler who realizes halfway through a journey that they are heading in the wrong direction. Would it be wiser for them to continue out of pride, or to turn around and find the right path? Turning back is not failure. It is wisdom. You have the freedom to pivot, to restart, to try again, to say yes to something new. Your story is still unfolding. Do not let regret anchor you in place. Let it teach you. Let it refine you. But do not let it convince you that opportunity has vanished. My beloved child, as long as you are breathing, there is room for movement. As long as your heart still hopes, there is room for renewal. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. And you are certainly not too late. Lift your head and take the next step. The path forward is still open. My beloved child, you have been holding on for so long. You have carried responsibilities, expectations, worries, and silent fears as if it were your duty to manage them all. Even after everything we have spoken about, there is still a part of you gripping tightly to certain burdens. You are afraid that if you release them, everything will fall apart. But I am asking you now, gently and firmly, lay your burdens down. Not tomorrow. Not when things feel more stable. Not when you feel stronger. Now, imagine a small child trying to carry a stack of heavy books far too big for their arms. The books wobble. They strain to keep them from falling. Their face tightens with effort. And all the while, the father stands nearby, hands open, waiting to help. My beloved child, you are the child. And I am standing before you with open hands. Some of the burdens you carry are about the future. You worry about finances, about relationships, about health, about decisions you have yet to make. You replay possible outcomes and try to prepare for every scenario. But you were never meant to carry tomorrow's weight today. Some of your burdens are about the past. Regret, guilt, memories that still sting, words spoken over you that continue to echo. You hold onto them as if punishing yourself will somehow fix what happened. But punishment does not produce healing. Surrender does. Some burdens are about others. You carry their problems in your heart. You try to rescue, fix, advise, and protect. Your compassion is beautiful, but it has become heavy. You cannot carry every life on your shoulders. My beloved child, you are not the savior of the world. You are loved by the one who is. Laying your burdens down does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling what is beyond your reach. It means trusting me with outcomes you cannot manage. It means admitting that your strength has limits, and that is not weakness. Think of a river flowing steadily. When it encounters a large stone, it does not stop and try to lift it. It flows around it. It continues forward. In the same way, you do not have to move every obstacle yourself. You can trust that I am working around what feels immovable. Right now, in your heart, picture the heaviest burden you carry. Name it quietly. Feel its weight. And then imagine placing it into my hands. I am not overwhelmed by it. I am not surprised by it. I am not incapable of handling it. You may feel hesitation. A part of you wants to take it back immediately. You have grown used to managing everything. But rest requires release. My beloved child, you deserve rest. Not just physical rest, but emotional rest. Spiritual rest. The kind of rest that allows your shoulders to drop, your breath to slow, your mind to quiet. I am not asking you to ignore your responsibilities. I am asking you to trust that you do not carry them alone. When you lay your burdens down, you make room for peace. When you release control, you create space for faith. When you stop gripping tightly, you allow my hands to work more freely in your life. Come to me with what exhausts you, with what confuses you, with what scares you. You do not have to filter it. You do not have to present it perfectly. Just lay it down. My beloved child, The weight you have been carrying is not meant to define you. It is meant to teach you surrender. Place it in my hands now, and let yourself breathe again. My beloved child, there were moments in your life that felt like they would break you beyond repair. Moments when the pain was so sharp you could hardly breathe. Moments when betrayal cut deeper than you expected. Moments when loss emptied spaces in your heart you did not know how to fill. You wondered if you would ever feel whole again. You questioned whether the damage was permanent. But I am rewriting what was meant to break you. What others intended for harm, I am turning into strength. What looked like an ending, I am shaping into a beginning. What felt like destruction, I am transforming into depth. You may not see the full rewrite yet. Right now, you may still see fragments of pain scattered across your memory. But rewriting takes time. It happens line by line, chapter by chapter. Imagine a storyteller who takes a tragic scene and weaves it into a greater narrative of redemption. The pain is not erased, but it is redefined. It becomes part of a larger story filled with growth, resilience, and unexpected beauty. My beloved child, that is what I am doing with your life. The rejection you experienced did not destroy your worth. It revealed where you needed to seek validation from me instead of from others. The failure you endured did not prove your inadequacy. It redirected you toward a path better suited for your gifts. The heartbreak you suffered did not ruin your capacity to love. It deepened your understanding of what real love requires. You thought certain events would permanently damage your confidence. You feared that you would never trust again. You assumed that scars would define your future. But scars are evidence of healing, not defeat. There were nights when you cried and asked, "Why did this happen to me?" I heard every question. I felt every tremor of your heart. And even in the moment of pain, I was already planning restoration. Writing does not mean pretending the pain never occurred. It means giving it purpose. Some of your greatest compassion has come from what hurt you most. Some of your deepest wisdom has grown from mistakes you once regretted. Some of your strongest boundaries have formed because you learned what it feels like to be wounded. My beloved child, nothing in your life is wasted when placed in my hands. Even the parts you are ashamed of. Even the decisions you wish you could undo. Even the seasons you feel embarrassed to talk about. I can redeem them. I can use them. I can transform them into testimony. You may look at your past and see chaos. I look at it and see raw material for something beautiful. Think of broken pieces of glass gathered and rearranged into a mosaic. Individually, they look sharp and fragmented. But when placed carefully into a larger design, they create art. The very pieces that once seemed useless become essential to the final image. Your broken moments are not beyond repair. They are part of the mosaic I am forming. Trust that the story is not over. Trust that the chapter of pain is not the final chapter. Trust that what was meant to crush your spirit will instead become a foundation for your strength. My beloved child, you are not defined by what tried to break you. You are defined by the love that carried you through it. I am rewriting your story with grace. I am weaving redemption into every scene. I am turning wounds into wisdom and sorrow into strength. Stay with me in the process. The rewrite is still unfolding, and what emerges from it will be more beautiful, more resilient, and more purposeful than you can imagine. My beloved child, I know you are tired of hearing that your breakthrough is coming. You have heard promises before. You have hoped before. You have believed before. And when nothing seemed to change immediately, disappointment tried to harden your heart. You began to protect yourself from expectation because it felt safer not to hope too much. But listen to me now with fresh ears. The breakthrough is closer than you think. Breakthrough does not always arrive with noise and spectacle. Sometimes it begins quietly, like the first crack of light beneath a closed door. You may not see the full opening yet, but the shift has already begun. You have been walking through what feels like resistance, praying and waiting, working and persevering, trusting and doubting at the same time. And in that tension, something has been building. Imagine a seed underground just before it breaks through the soil. For a long time, nothing appears on the surface, but beneath the ground, pressure is forming. Growth is pushing upward. The soil begins to loosen. The breakthrough happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible above it. My beloved child, much of what you are waiting for has already begun in unseen places. The conversation that will open a new door is being prepared. The opportunity that aligns with your growth is forming. The clarity you have been seeking is approaching. The healing you have longed for is deepening. You may feel like giving up because you cannot see immediate change. But do not stop just before the shift. There have been seasons where you stopped believing too soon, where you assumed nothing would change and close your heart. But this time, I am asking you to hold steady a little longer. The resistance you feel is not a sign of defeat. It is often a sign that something significant is near. Just before the dawn, the night feels darkest. Just before labor produces new life, the intensity increases. Just before chains break, they feel tightest. Do not mistake pressure for abandonment. I am still working. I am still aligning. I am still preparing what is ahead of you. Think about how much you have grown in this season, how your perspective has shifted, how your patience has strengthened, how your dependence on me has deepened. Those changes are not accidental. They are preparation for what is coming. Breakthrough requires readiness. If it arrived before you were ready, it might overwhelm you. If it came before your character was strengthened, it might slip through your hands. But now, you are standing closer to alignment than you realize. My beloved child, I see the edge of what you cannot yet see. I see the opening forming where you see a wall. I see the shift beginning where you feel stagnation. Lift your head. Renew your expectation. Not with reckless optimism, but with steady trust. The breakthrough may not look exactly like what you imagined. It may arrive in a form you did not predict, but it will carry peace. It will carry clarity. It will carry confirmation that the waiting was not in vain. Stay faithful in small steps. Continue showing up. Continue trusting. Continue praying. Continue moving forward, even if progress feels slow. You are not standing at the beginning anymore. You are nearer to change than you have ever been. My beloved child, the breakthrough is not distant. It is for me. And when it arrives, you will understand why the journey required such endurance. Hold on. The shift is closer than you think. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when trusting me felt easy. In seasons of peace, when everything flowed smoothly, trust came naturally. You saw answers to prayer. You felt guided. You sensed clarity. But there have also been seasons when trust felt heavy, when confusion clouded your vision, when outcomes did not match your expectations. And in those moments, doubt tried to settle into your heart. Today, I am asking you gently, trust me one more time. Not because you have never struggled, not because you have never questioned, but because I have remained faithful through every chapter. There were times when you did not understand my direction, times when you felt led into unfamiliar territory. You wanted certainty before taking a step. You wanted proof before surrender. But trust is not built on having all the answers. It is built on knowing the one who leads you. Think of a child learning to walk across a narrow path with their father's hand extended. The child may feel uncertain. The ground may look uneven. But the father's steady grip provides security. My beloved child, I am holding my hand out to you now. You may say, I trusted before, and I still face pain. That is true. Trust does not remove every challenge, but it changes how you walk through them. It anchors you. It steadies you. It reminds you that you are not navigating alone. There were moments when you thought I had abandoned you, when prayers seemed unanswered, when silence stretched longer than you expected. But even in those times, I was shaping outcomes you could not see. Trusting again can feel vulnerable. It requires you to release control. It asks you to believe that I am working even when circumstances seem unchanged. But control has exhausted you. Trying to predict every outcome has drained you. Let me carry what you cannot. Trust me with the unanswered questions. Trust me with the relationships that feel uncertain. Trust me with the opportunities that seem delayed. Trust me with your own heart. You do not have to trust perfectly. You only have to trust sincerely. Even a small step of faith matters. Even a quiet whisper of belief carries weight. When you say, I do not understand, but I will trust you, you open space for peace to enter. My beloved child, remember the times I carried you before, the doors that opened unexpectedly, the strength that came when you felt weak, the protection that surrounded you without your awareness. Those were not coincidences. They were reminders of my faithfulness. Trust is not blind optimism. It is confident reliance. It is choosing to believe that my perspective is wider than yours. It is resting in the truth that my intentions are always rooted in love. It is accepting that even when the path curves, it still leads somewhere meaningful. You are not foolish for trusting me. You are courageous. Right now, you stand at a point where fear tempts you to withdraw, to rely only on what you can see. But I am inviting you to lean forward instead of pulling back. Trust me one more time. One more prayer. One more step. One more act of surrender. You will not regret placing your confidence in my hands. I have never failed you, even when outcomes differed from your expectations. My beloved child, let trust rise again in your heart. Let it quiet the noise of doubt. Let it steady your spirit. Take my hand once more. I am leading you somewhere worth the journey. My beloved child, if you remember nothing else from these words, remember this. You are deeply loved. Not conditionally. Not temporarily. Not based on your performance, your success, or your consistency. You are loved because you are mine. You have spent much of your life trying to earn love in subtle ways. By being helpful. By being agreeable. By achieving. By hiding parts of yourself that felt messy or complicated. Somewhere along the way, you learned to associate love with effort. But my love does not operate that way. Imagine the steady warmth of the sun. It shines without asking the earth to prove its worth. It rises each day without demanding applause. In the same way, my love shines over you without requiring perfection. There have been moments when you felt unlovable. After mistakes. After failure. After saying words you wish you could take back. After hurting someone or being hurt yourself. Shame tried to convince you to pull away. To hide. Withdraw from connection. But my beloved child, shame does not push me away from you. If anything, it draws me closer. when you feel most undeserving, that is when you most need to understand the depth of my love. It is not fragile. It is not easily offended. It is not withdrawn at the first sign of weakness. You may struggle to believe this because human love has sometimes disappointed you. People have promised loyalty and later changed. They have offered affection and later withdrawn it. You have experienced love mixed with conditions and expectations. But I am not limited by human inconsistency. My love does not fluctuate with your mood. It does not diminish when you question. It does not disappear when you struggle. Think of a parent holding a newborn child. The child has done nothing to earn affection. It cannot perform, impress, or repay. Yet it is cherished fully. My beloved child, that is how I see you. Even in your maturity, even in your independence, you are still precious to me. You may carry insecurities about your appearance, your personality, your past. You may feel that parts of you are too broken to be loved deeply. But there is no part of you I regret creating. I know your thoughts before you speak them. I know your fears before you name them. I know your history and your potential. And knowing all of it, I still love you fully. You do not have to clean yourself up before coming to me. You do not have to achieve something significant to earn my attention. You do not have to hide your doubts or pretend to be stronger than you are. Bring me your whole heart. Bring me your confusion, your joy, your questions, your weaknesses. I do not turn away from any of it. My beloved child, when the world feels harsh and unpredictable, let this truth anchor you. You are securely loved. When you feel rejected, remember that you are accepted here. When you feel forgotten, remember that you are known here. When you feel overlooked, remember that you are seen here. Love is not something you must chase endlessly. It is something you already have in abundance from me. Rest in that love. Let it quiet your insecurity. Let it soften your self-criticism. Let it remind you that your value does not rise and fall with circumstances. You are not striving for love. You are standing in it. And my beloved child, nothing you do and nothing you face can separate you from the depth of that love. My beloved child, you have listened. You have reflected. You have carried these words in your heart. Now it is time to move. Not recklessly, not anxiously, but courageously. For too long, fear has tried to sit in the driver's seat of your life. It has whispered worst-case scenarios. It has magnified risks and minimized your strength. It has convinced you to delay decisions, to shrink back from opportunities, to remain in familiar spaces even when your spirit longed for more. But you were not created to live confined by fear. Fear will always attempt to protect you from discomfort. It will tell you that staying still is safer than stepping forward. It will suggest that avoiding risk is wiser than trusting growth. Yet safety without purpose leads to stagnation. You have been prepared for this next step. All the lessons, all the waiting, all the healing, all the rebuilding of confidence, they were not random. They were equipping you. You are not the same person you were when fear first intimidated you. You are stronger now, wiser, more grounded. Imagine standing at the edge of a path that disappears around a bend. You cannot see what lies beyond the curve. Fear tells you that because you cannot see it, you should not walk it. But trust reminds you that the path was designed with care. My beloved child, step forward. Do not wait until you feel completely fearless. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. You may feel your heart race. You may feel uncertainty tug at your thoughts. But remember what you have learned. You are guided. You are protected. You are deeply loved. You are not alone. There are opportunities waiting for your yes. There are conversations waiting for your honesty. There are decisions waiting for your commitment. And each step you take in faith strengthens your confidence further. Fear will not disappear overnight, but it does not have to control you. Think of a young bird preparing to leave the nest for the first time. The sky looks vast. The ground looks far away. The instinct to remain in the nest feels strong. Yet the wings were created for flight. Staying forever would limit what was meant to expand. My beloved child, your wings are ready. The dreams placed within you were not meant to remain thoughts forever. The healing you have received was not meant to keep you hidden. The growth you have experienced was not meant to be stored away. You are being called forward. Forward into greater alignment. Forward into deeper purpose. Forward into situations that will stretch you but also strengthen you. You may stumble at times. You may question yourself again. But movement creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. I am not sending you alone. I walk beside you with every step. When you hesitate, I steady you. When you doubt, I remind you. When you grow weary, I support you. Do not allow the shadow of fear to overshadow the light of possibility. Lift your head. Straighten your shoulders. Take the step you have been postponing. Speak the truth you have been holding back. Apply for the opportunity you have been doubting. Set the boundary you know is necessary. Begin the project you have been imagining. My beloved child, the path ahead may not be fully visible, but it is prepared. Step forward without fear, not because you control what lies ahead, but because you trust the one who does. Move now. The next chapter is waiting. My beloved child, as you have listened to these words, something inside you has been stirring. Moments felt personal. Certain sentences felt as though they were describing your life exactly. You may have paused and thought, how could this speak so directly to me? That was not coincidence. That was me reaching for you. From the very beginning, when you first saw the title and felt that subtle pull, I was drawing you closer. You could have ignored it. You could have moved on. But something kept you here. That quiet persistence was my love refusing to let you drift unnoticed. This message was not generic. It was not accidental. It was not random noise in a crowded world. It was intentional. I know the hidden corners of your heart. I know the questions you rarely voice. I know the battles you fight in silence. And I wanted you to hear, clearly and personally, that you are seen. There are times in your life when you feel small in a vast world. One among many. Easy to overlook. But I do not see you as one among many. I see you as uniquely formed, uniquely loved, uniquely guided. Imagine a father walking through a busy crowd and locking eyes with his child. In that instant, the noise fades. The connection is direct. That is what this moment is. In the middle of your busy life, I locked eyes with you. You may have felt distant from me recently. Distracted. Preoccupied. Unsure of where you stand. But I have never stepped away. Even when you wandered in thought or emotion, I remained near. This message was my way of reminding you that your fears do not disqualify you, that your delays do not define you, that your wounds can be healed, that your future still holds light, that you are not too late, that you are deeply loved. Everything spoken was not to overwhelm you, but to steady you. There have been subtle confirmations throughout your life that I am present. A word spoken at the right time. A reminder that surfaced unexpectedly. A sense of peace in the middle of confusion. This message joins those moments. You are not navigating your story alone. Even when you feel strong, I am supporting you. Even when you feel weak, I am sustaining you. Even when you feel uncertain, I am guiding you. My beloved child, do not let this moment pass without receiving it fully. Do not dismiss it as emotional or temporary. Let it settle into your spirit. When doubt returns, remember this reaching. When fear tries to rise again, remember these words. When you feel forgotten, recall that I intentionally drew you here. This was me knocking gently on the door of your heart. Not to demand, not to condemn, but to remind. You matter. Your journey matters. Your growth matters. And your presence in this world is not accidental. As you step forward from this moment, carry the awareness that I am actively involved in your life. I am not a distant observer. I am an attentive father. This message was my hand extended toward you. And my beloved child, I am still reaching. My beloved child, we have walked through many truths together. You have been reminded that you are seen, that you are protected, that you are not behind, that you are not too late. You have been called to lay your burdens down, to trust again, to step forward without fear. You have been assured that your tears were not wasted, that your wounds are being rewritten, that your breakthrough is closer than you think. And now, as this moment comes to a close, I want you to carry one certainty in your heart. This message was truly for you, not for the crowd, not for someone else who might need it more. For you. Every fear you quietly held, I addressed. Every doubt you wrestled with, I answered. Every hidden ache, I acknowledged. I did this because you matter to me beyond what you can measure. As you move forward from here, do not return to old lies. Do not shrink back into old fears. Let these words echo when uncertainty tries to rise again. Let them steady you when storms attempt to shake you. Let them remind you that you are deeply loved and divinely guided. I bless your mind with peace. I bless your heart with courage. I bless your path with clarity. I bless your future with hope. May doors open at the right time. May relationships align with truth. May your confidence continue to rise. May your trust grow deeper and steadier with each step. And now, my beloved child, if this message has strengthened your spirit, then let it become light for others too. When you give through super thanks, when you join as a member, or when you sow through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping me reach another weary heart. I declare over you my living promise. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and as you release your seed, I breathe increase over your life. I say to you now, if this word has lifted you, then lift another through your generosity. Let your gift be like oil poured out, spreading light where darkness still lingers. Do not delay this act of obedience, for what you sow becomes harvest in unseen souls. As you give, I open windows of pavilion, peace, and favor over you. Step into this moment boldly, knowing you are partnering with my purpose. Move now, and let your generosity echo beyond what you can see. Carry my peace with you. Walk in my assurance. Rest in my love. I am with you, always. Amen.